Hey guys, welcome back. And I have been kind of a foul mood. I had to replace my phone. It crapped out on me over the weekend, and I lost a ton of photos, and they're telling me it's going to cost about $3,000 to recover it, so I don't know what I'm going to do about that. So I haven't been really in a good mental state for recording videos. But then this news kind of broke tonight, and I was really interested to see what the reaction was going to be, and boy, the hot takes have already been pretty fantastic. So, apparently, Call of Duty has made the decision to pull Nickmercs, a major YouTube streamer. Also, I think he's on Twitch. Maybe he's no longer on Twitch. I don't know. He did have a big contract with them. To pull a skin he had in Call of Duty over his, quote, anti-LGBTQ comment, which is absolutely not true. And you'll see for yourself in the actual tweet down below. So Activision has pulled a Call of Duty skin based on the hugely popular Nickmercs after he made an anti-LGBTQ comment on Twitter. Earlier this week, broadcaster Chris Puckett tweeted about a local clash between pro-LGBT protesters and bigots near his apartments. Now, this is from Kotaku. This is how they're going to frame it, right? To which Nickmercs, referencing a popular rallying cry of the increasingly unhinged right-wing media machine, which baselessly asserts that trans people and drag performers are somehow child abusers. Wow, this is definitely Kotaku for you. Replied, they should leave little children alone. So I love that Kotaku goes out of their way to call right-wingers unhinged, demented lunatics who are believing a bunch of stuff's happening that isn't happening, which is actually verifiably happening. You can actually find the stories and articles about this in the news. All he says is they should leave children alone, and apparently he's now a right-wing extremist. Didn't know that about Nickmercs, to be honest. I was never much of a fan of his. I just don't like his personality, but, you know, maybe I'll have to give him a second chance. I don't know. So, Nickmercs was swiftly condemned. As this Dexerto roundup summarizes, he was rightly rounded on by many notable members of the Call of Duty and wider esports community, including broadcaster Golden Boy, who said, I'm disappointed in you, Nick. Teaching acceptance and tolerance for everyone is a valuable life skill for all ages. Bullshit it is. No, you don't have to teach tolerance for everyone. I'm not going to be teaching tolerance for groomers and maps. No, thank you. Loopy, a coach at Vexed Gaming, had even stronger words, saying, I will never work or watch an MFAM event again. I cannot in good conscience work for a bigot. I am a Marine and swore to uphold and protect the Constitution, which protects protests and demands equality for all. Peace and love unless you're gay or trans. What a loser. And this is just like the literal, I mean, let me go to Reddit here. I'll show you some more of these guys. They're just complete brain melt responses. So in the thread where they're talking about this tweet, you've got people going, a reminder to everybody that transphobia is against the rules of this sub. So right off the bat, they're like, any messing around, we're going to shut it down. And then they talk about this other streamer, Snipe, unliking the tweet after someone called him out as pretty pathetic. Another person says, this whole topic is just such a made-up BS to distract people from the real class issues happening in U.S. and all of the world. That's what pisses me off the most. I can't believe how many single-digit IQ people are falling for it. Now, let me tell you something. All these people, the majority of them don't have kids. They're not married. They don't have stable families. Most of them have mental illnesses. That's why they're on Reddit. And the reality is, they're judging people who are saying, leave our children alone, as some sort of like extreme viewpoint, when the reality is, it's this simple. Those of us who have kids just want them to stay innocent and be kids. And these people that exist, the brain drain on Reddit, they don't understand why that's a problem for the rest of us. And so the original tweet that I found was from this Twitter account, Charlie Intel, which tweets about Call of Duty crap or whatever. And they pointed out the Nickmercs bundle being removed. To which Call of Duty responded, due to recent events, we have removed the Nickmercs operator bundle from Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone store. We are focused on celebrating Pride with our employees and community. Pride in all caps, mind you. Now, the responses have been fantastic. Very disappointing. I loved your games growing up. You should respect the diverse opinions on the issue of LGBT pride. Sexualization of children isn't the hill you want to die on. Almost 1,000 likes right now. Keep sexual things away from kids. 6 things drag queens can do instead of dancing for children. I mean... here's one. I just deleted all Call of Duty games off the family Xbox Series X, and I hope more people follow me. Actually, I gotta uninstall Warzone. I'm gonna do the same thing. What specific part of what he said did you have a problem with? Hold on, so someone's opinion that wasn't even homophobic gets the skin removed? Right? I mean, this is like when they conflate it and say, oh no, like, look at what happened in Florida with Ron DeSantis signing the bill to give death penalty to child molesters. they literally came out and said, well, that's going to affect the LGBTQ community the most, right? I mean, think about the implication there. It's pretty frightening. And this isn't the kind of stuff we're talking about here. Stuff in children's programming. Gwen Stacy has become a trans icon. There is a million articles talking about how this character is trans. And honestly, I looked into this. It seems like the subversive subliminal messaging in the movie actually is there. That she or he or whatever Gwen is intended to be is trans. Maybe not originally like the comics, but definitely in the way that it's being portrayed in this movie. It's in all sorts of stuff. You'll see it in any Pixar movie these days. Then you've got stuff like this story that broke a couple days ago about Bud Light co-sponsoring an all-ages drag show party. Now, Bud Light wasn't actually sponsoring it, but they still put it on the drag show's advertising, right? I mean, Bud Light is just a joke at this point. Now we have this article that came out in the Wall Street Journal actually talking about and admitting to the truth about puberty blockers and how the FDA hasn't approved them for gender dysphoria and that their effects are serious and permanent. Something that people who exist on Reddit, on Twitter, especially, Twitter 1.0 before Elon took over, things that people would say, oh no, they're reversible, there's no long-term effects. It's in the same way that the same group of people that are having these experimental medications and experimental surgeries are in the highest likelihood group of people to end their lives prematurely, and yet it's still being sold as this belief that if they can have these irreversible surgeries that will leave them permanent patients and mutilated for the rest of their lives and unable to have kids or have any pleasure, that somehow they'll be happier. And again, it's finally starting to fall apart. We're finally starting to see that when simple things like this tweet right here, simple things like this, where he says they should leave little children alone, that's the real issue. I mean, how freaking, what a hot take, right? Wow, don't touch kids, leave kids alone. That's crazy. Let me know what you guys think down below. Share your thoughts about Nickmercs. I don't know much about him other than I watched a tiny bit of a stream once and didn't really care for his personality. I don't know, maybe it was just a bad day for me, who knows. Let me know what you think down below, and we will see you on the next one.